I knew I should have run after that critical hit. We're just going to pretend like that didn't happen. Alright, welcome to my run of Pokémon Fire Red Nuzlocke. I'm going to go over the rules of a Nuzlocke, although the rules I'm using are pretty standard. I'm going to go over that while I get my Pokemon, get my first Pokeballs, all of that kind of stuff. Basically, the goal of the Nuzlocke is to make things harder. We will be using fast forward intermittently. I've got to set up to auto mute the audio because it sounds like absolute garbage when it's, fast forwarded. So that's something we'll have to deal with and address, but I think most of that is going to be limited to those times where there's large periods of grinding, and hopefully that can be avoided because it's not fun to do a lot of grinding. It's certainly not fun to watch. I've attempted a Nuzlocke previously with Fire Red, but it stalled and I stopped playing because at one point I had to grind a Magikarp up to level 20 in order to evolve it into Gyarados because I was otherwise stuck outside of Rock Tunnel, having lost so many Pokemon that it simply wasn't worth proceeding. So hopefully we don't encounter that here, but that's how Nuzlockes sometimes go. Well, now that we're into the game, so the rules of a Nuzlocke are pretty basic. The most important thing is that if a Pokemon faints, it has to be released. It's considered dead. I nickname all of my Pokemon while doing Nuzlocke runs because it causes you to become a little more attached to them, which makes it so much more painful when you actually lose them. No items in battle. That's not one that everyone uses, but I use it because it makes them a little bit more difficult. Otherwise, you can just use potions to heal throughout the entire thing, and it's not as challenging. What else is there? Battle mode is set awkwardly enough. Because otherwise you can just, shift Pokemon every time the opponent loses one. And that makes things too easy. Now, I don't know which one of these I'm going to pick. The options, of course, are Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander. My heart tends to go with Charmander, but I didn't bring a dice or anything like that to help make this determination. So I'm just going to open a random number generator. And if it's 1, 2, or 3, that's the order it'll be. 1 for Bulbasaur, 2 for Squirtle, 3 for Charmander. And Google has generated 2. I'm not terribly surprised to hear that. I should have done a larger sample, but oh well. So we're going with Squirtle then. That's going to make Brock a lot easier, so thank goodness for that. I don't think I've ever chosen Squirtle at the start of the game before. See, what would be a good name for a Squirtle? My sister used to have a pet turtle that was named Rascal. And he was also a male, so that works out well. Alright, Rascal the turtle. Now, one rule that probably won't matter is that if you lose this first battle, you don't have to release your starter, obviously. But chances of losing this first battle are not very high, so that rarely comes into play. But anything is possible, I suppose. Oh, shut up, dude. I've played Pokemon before. I mean, the way to beat him here, his AI is random, so he's just going to use what it... Oak, shut up, dude. We each have 2 moves we can do. So I'm guessing it's a speed tie, because I outsped him the first turn, but he's outsped me now twice in a row. But if he continues outspeeding, he might actually win this. Okay, oh, I win. Okay, that's good. It'd be kind of awkward to lose that first fight. But it certainly does happen. Oak needs to shut up. This didn't happen in the original game, and no one misunderstood the concept. Everyone understood immediately. You fought Pokemon, you gained experience and money, and that was the end of it. It didn't need these explanations from Professor Oak. Alright, took a moment to get the overlay fixed. Looks better now that we have our Squirtle there. Oh, she's gonna stop and talk to me, isn't she? Of course she is. Now, I've never wondered, but does it actually tell me what she just said on this stupid sign? Is there actually a sign that has that trainer tip on it? Because if so, that exemplifies everything that is wrong with Nintendo game design. So one of the rules that I forgot to mention for Nuzlocke is that you have to capture the first Pokemon that you encounter on any given route or any given area. And you can only catch that one Pokemon. So if you faint it, you can't catch a Pokemon on that route. Now there is a duplicate's clause, because you can't catch duplicate Pokemon. If I catch a Rattata, I can't catch a Rattata on another route. The last time I did not use the duplicate clause, and as a result, I kept encountering the same Pokemon across several different routes, and I couldn't get a new one. Now this obviously created an issue once my Pokemon started dying, as they often do in these kinds of runs. So this time I'm going to use the dupes clause, which means if I already caught a Rattata... Oh god, no. I knew I should have run after that critical hit. Okay, well, in the interest of not wasting time starting over, because I feel like that would be a little bit silly to just, start over and use another random generator to probably get another 2. We're just going to pretend like that didn't happen. Just going to ignore that and carry on. This will be the only freebie. So anyway, in the previous attempt at a Nuzlocke, I did not use the dupes clause, and as a result, I kept running out of Pokemon, and that was how I ended up in the position of needing to grind up a Magikarp. Which was a miserable experience, and not one that I ever wish to repeat. And therefore, we're going to be using the dupes clause in this run. So if I've caught a Caterpie, for example, and in the next area my first Pokemon is a Caterpie again, then it won't count as the only Pokemon that I can capture on that route. I can keep encountering Pokemon on a new route until I encounter one that is legally catchable. That's the best way to put it, I think. So getting past that extremely embarrassing death right there at the beginning. I mean, it was a wild Pidgey, I should have run after the critical hit, and I knew that. Because Tackle only has like a 90% accuracy, so I knew there was a chance to miss. Can't believe I died already. I legitimately considered just restarting the entire run. But that would be kind of silly. Considering I was just leaving Pallet Town for the first time. So it looks like all we're going to really accomplish in part 1 is getting our first Pokemon from Route 1, maybe? I aim for about 20 minutes for each one of these little segments. Let's see if we can do this without dying. Which shouldn't be a consideration, but here we are. I really didn't want to encounter anything else. Oh well. I'm just gonna run from it. I don't want to do an excessive amount of grinding. And as we've learned, those Pidgeys can be dangerous. I would much rather have a Rattata now and get a Spearow later. But it doesn't always happen that way, does it? I don't think Spearow has a very high encounter rate after Pewter City and before Mount Moon. I need to speed up the text, and I need to fix the battle style and all of that kind of stuff, so let's get these people to shut the hell up. Because they sure do love running their mouths in this game. Oh, that's why that keeps happening. Because it's my hotkey to speed things up. I don't need that. Okay. Perfect. Even though we're not going to really need the town map, let's go ahead and get one. I don't know why his sister has multiple town maps. I need to stop pushing that. I did not know his sister was named Daisy. That's new information to me. I guess I didn't know she had a name. Will one of those dudes give me Pokeballs? Oh, I've got some. Okay, cool. So here we go. The Nuzlocke officially begins. Which is another reason not to restart the run. I have to catch this Pokemon, or I cannot catch one on this route. It's a Rattata. Okay, that's good. That's better than a Pidgey. For my immediate needs, at least. Now, if I accidentally faint this thing with a critical hit, for example, then I just don't get to catch a Pokemon on this route. But luckily, that did not happen. Should be pretty much a sure thing to catch this. I mean, it's a Rattata at level 3. Now, in honor of this thing's enormous teeth, I think the only fair thing, and the fact that she's female, the only honorable thing to name her would be Hermione. Checks out. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to Brock in this particular episode, it doesn't look like. Although that would be a nice little combination of episode 1, so maybe we'll carry on and see how it goes. I can edit out some of this anyway to make the video less than 20 minutes. I honestly expected that to hit harder. Is this before or after the physical special split? That happened in Gen 4. Gen 4 was Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. This is GBA. Oh, this is Gen 3, so... Water attacks are all still special attacks. And I don't know much about Squirtle's actual stats. Is this before or after Nature's? Mild Nature's. What does mild do? I don't recall what mild does as far as Nature's go. I guess I could look it up, but I don't recall what mild does as far as nature goes. I guess I could look it up, but it feels like cheating. I shouldn't have access to those kinds of external resources in the middle of a Nuzlocke run. I know it's not one of the ones I want, like Modest. Modest would be great. Modest increases your special attack and lowers your attack. Which may sound like it's a bad thing, but usually a Pokemon has one good... Either their special attack is good and their attack is bad, or their attack is good and their special attack is bad. At any rate, you never really... I got a Sparrow. Do not faint this thing, Squirtle. Excuse me, Rascal. Do not faint this thing. That hit pretty hard. A critical hit's gonna faint it. And a critical hit's gonna faint Hermione as well. Well, she's not gonna do... She's not... Okay, that was okay. Alright, I'm very happy to have gotten a Squirtle. Oh, I need to update the overlay. I'll do that after nicknaming my Squirtle. Could only ever have been Jacques. Alright, let's update this overlay real quick. Overlay is updated. So let's heal these two up and attempt to get through... I can't capture this. I would love a Mankey. I would. That would be wonderful. But I can't capture you. Because I've already caught a Pokemon on this route. We're not ready to take on the rival over here yet. We need to get some experience to Hermione and Jacques. Jacques will do really good in Viridian Forest. But the only way to get experience for Hermione right now is going to be to switch train. Which is slow and tedious, but Rascal has to be strong enough to not die while shift training. And level 8 should be fine for that, so... No, we're not even going to get through Viridian Forest. We're already past 20 minutes. Okay. Well, we're going to save up then, and I guess count this as the end of the starter episode. Next week, in the next episode, we'll get through Viridian Forest and cap the episode off with a battle against Brock, the first gym leader in the Kanto games. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. A new episode of the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night randomized run will be coming in the... later today. Actually, you will get that before you get this, so ignore everything I just said about the Bloodstained run. And a new video, of course, about Nintendo and the many evil things they're doing is currently in the works. Audio is recorded, and we're just in the editing processes of that. So thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that wonderful stuff. It all helps out a lot, and I promise not to make any more stupid decisions and not run from crits. And the Nuzlocke has officially begun. Stay tuned. It's going to get ugly. We're going to lose some Pokemon that we care about. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening.